Can't believe it's been over a year since my last Reddit video. Despite the flaws of the video, I could probably say it's one of my favorite videos I've ever made. But I feel like I can go even more in depth and reach a wider audience about why I dislike this subreddit so much, despite how some of their problems with cars and urban planning seem a bit reasonable at first glance. So I think, for the last time, it is time to dive back into the subreddit with your favorite stuttering YouTuber, Wubba Bubba. So before I show you any of the posts from this wholesome subreddit, I'm going to answer a question some of you may be asking. What are my thoughts on the whole idea this subreddit talks about? Urban planning, big cars, and alternative modes of transportation. Even though I'm critical of 15-minute cities and the push for more urbanization, I agree with some basic things. So let me be very clear. I like bikes. Heck, it was my main form of transportation until recently. I like cars. I like alternative modes of transportation when they're safe. I think the United States can benefit from all of these. In a perfect world, I would want people to choose what mode of transportation they feel most comfortable with to get around town or to work without feeling left behind in civilization. Would it be cool to find ways to lower the size of some of these trucks? That would be great. Heck, I own something that kind of fits that niche perfectly. But the main problem is that this subreddit doesn't look for long-term solutions to these problems by talking to urban planners or just simple debates about how zoning or cafe laws are implemented horribly in the United States. They prefer simpleton rhetoric heavily. You don't think public transportation is safe where you live? Must be a bigot. You use a truck in an urban setting for actual use? Nah, you have a small wiener and we should take away your right to buy it. Need a car to get from your rural house to the store? You're holding back society and need to be relocated. What do you need a commuter car for? All you need is a bicycle. Too cold to bike where you live and want to be instead in a warm, toasty car? Wear a coat, you're a lazy ass. I could go on and on. To the few people in this subreddit who are discussing ways to improve society with actual debate, which surprisingly does happen time from time on this subreddit, my beef isn't with you. My beef is with a majority of your bike-brained authoritarian comrades, and in my opinion, you should just start another community and cast these people aside. If you want people to come to your side and find ways to improve on how we look at transportation in the United States or even other countries, taking part in a subreddit where Redditors are constantly thinking of trucks, owners' hot dogs isn't the way to do it. Urban planning needs to be born again to get stuff done. Okay, I think a lot of you get the picture now. Let us get into some of these gems on this subreddit that's piping hot since last time I covered this. New Seattle waterfront bike lane opened. So what is this about, Wubba Bubba? Are you chimping out on newly constructed bike lanes? No? Honestly, it looks pretty cool despite me thinking the city of Seattle is a dump. My problem is just that the user partakes in a subreddit that dunks on some car owners not following the law, then proceeds to run several red lights meant for bicyclists. And when one user pointed it out, they downvoted him and the poster chimped out. Let me read some of this slap fight for you guys. Bro records himself running a red light. Lol. Using a phone while driving, going through red lights. I could have easily killed someone today. Bikes get mad at cars for breaking the laws of the road, but don't hold themselves to the same standards. Sincerely, a fellow biker. Holding a 20-pound bike, I have manually pedaled to the same standards as a motorized vehicle that is 5,000 pounds, can go 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, has many blind spots, and is unable to hear anything outside. You are not a fellow biker. You're a troll. Lol. This is the main problem people have with the stereotypical bicyclist. They always think they're never in the wrong. The next couple of posts I'm about to show you is a very recent development. It's what I call the thing I disagree with is evil mustache man. This is America. Americans when the price of gas goes up 2 cents. This is Reddit incarnate. You voted based on what you think will get the economy back in shape? You have damned every single minority group. Get out of your stupid bubble. How are people still acting like this for how many years? Potential rise in America is being enabled by car dependence and the auto industry. Rant. America-centric post. The MAGA movement smells to me and to a lot of other people. There are some interesting links between cars and Donald Trump's rise, and I want to lay them out here. Number 1.
gasoline prices. Inflation is a reason many Americans cited for voting Trump. And gas prices are among the biggest concerns. Mean tweets and $2.50 gas is a phrase I've seen online a few times. If we take these people at their word, they feel financially insecure due to the variance in gasoline prices and the fact they are reliant on buying copious amounts of it for their own transportation needs. Why is complaining about gas prices a bad thing? It's not some deep societal collapse or whatever mumbo jumbo you're speaking. Most Americans like low prices for everything. Them being concerned about gas prices also relates to how a lot of the goods are transported throughout the United States. Sorry to tell some of you, but electric trains don't deliver your food. Small cars, trucks, and diesel semis do that and will continue to until it becomes economically viable not to. A society where everyone's life is dependent on the price of a globally traded commodity is fundamentally unstable. And no, I don't think Trump will be better on inflation, so no need to argue that in the comments. You can make this argument with anything. Electricity is evil because if the prices go up, your country will become unstable and everyone feels like they need electricity. Piss off with this garbage take. Building Autobahn. If you don't know what the Autobahn is basically the highway system created in the 30s for Germany. Despite how hilariously delusional this post is, I will give some of the users credit. Some voice that posts like these make their movement look stupid. I will say it again though, if awful posts like these somehow get 300 upvotes in your subreddit, I would question why the hell am I still even here? This poster needed an update given recent events. When you ride a Tesla, you ride with Evil Mustache Man. Join public transportation today. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to convince a lot of Tesla drivers to join your cause. Also, 45,000 upvotes. Look at that. Seems like every Texas police department is in a competition to see who can have the biggest child crusher 3000. No, we can't go inside the school while 19 children are being murdered. We are afraid for our lives. Cops are the most insecure and useless people on the planet, but they love showing off the toys they get courtesy of the military-industrial complex. The failure of the police during Uvalde caused more tragedy, but you do realize that massive behemoths like these save lives, right? Most don't regularly drive these to McDonald's every day. They are used for extreme events. Saying these are unnecessary because of one horrific failure on the part of cops is dumb. I've seen hundreds of videos of massive vehicles like this being rightfully used. One last thing that's kinda off topic, if you don't want police to protect kids in the future, who will? Most of these people are left-leaning, and they don't like armed teachers or resource officers. So what, throw your faith into a stupid sign? If people always park in places that say no parking, what do you think criminals do when they see the no guns allowed sign? Okay, I got 2 posts coming right up for you guys that paint a picture of some delusions they have about trucks. But I need a truck to transport big things like lumber. Saw this idiot with a truck recently, full-size pickup, and they were hanging lumber off the side mirror. There's really no excuse for this kind of vehicle. Okay, I can agree with them that this seems like a terrible placement of lumber, but there's no excuse for this kind of vehicle. This is the worst case scenario. This doesn't prove jack shit, besides the driver himself not being from the brightest litter. I can already see ways on how to get this lumber to its destination safely with the right tools. Okay, let us take a gander at the next post on how transporting lumber is done right, according to some who partake in this subreddit. Needed to get some lumber for a project. It wasn't a rideable rigged up this way, but makes a pretty decent cart, certainly better than carrying it all 2 miles. Wow, this looks entirely safe with no red flags like that flimsy job trying to tie up those planks, or the fact that they're jutting out 2.5 feet behind you. Must be fun to clip some random on the sidewalk. You can't do that. MAGA culture says that you need a pickup truck, at least a Ford F-350. Behave. Clearly, I hate freedom. I wouldn't hate on this post if you posed this as a fun challenge. Heck, I tied heavy groceries to one of my smaller bikes a couple times for fun. Do I recommend it to anyone? Hell no. But a lot of the comments see this as a legitimate option. They weren't even recommending cargo bikes, just one guy saying, proven fact, Any bike can be a cargo bike. Sorry, but any bike doesn't make it a cargo bike. My thighs when doing dumb heavy load challenges could tell you that. Speaking of cargo bikes, but I need a car to haul things. Behold, the cargo bike. Buddy of mine was looking for cargo bikes on Facebook Marketplace and saw this absolutely iconic image. Entire washing machine in that thing, all for under $1,000. Was $700 or something. That truck I just showed you would smoke this thing in a heartbeat, and the time being saved not hauling this accident waiting to happen would be really nice. I will also give credit again. A lot of the comments were dunking on this, and the funny thing is this bike was supposedly recalled. Just like cars, bikes are capable of failing. I would have never guessed. Still, 347 people saw this and were blown away by this guy's supposed 4D chess level brain. Again, I wouldn't have a problem with this if you weren't showing this off as a normal, everyday solution. Main character sticks it to drivers. Redditors think this is badass because he's trying not to hurt civilians or slightly inconvenience them, and instead is walking down a busy road. What? This guy is not himself and needs help, not updates from Redditors online. I have to move my wheel a few degrees and deviate my car's trajectory for 4 seconds? I want to now. Average car driver. There is a sidewalk. He doesn't have to be in the road. It's not legal to just walk in the middle of the road with a gigantic branch that's going to 100% cause an accident. The only time you'd be concerned if there was a bicyclist maybe coming from that road. Very wholesome community indeed. Live action of a mild vandalization of a Tesla Cybertruck. This got 1.4 thousand upvotes for a crime being committed. This has got to be a good video. Oh wait, post has been deleted. Okay, that's cool that they deleted something that was glorifying committing crimes. No, wait, what is this? Thank you for participating in r/fuckcars. However, things that have happened somewhere else on Reddit are not on topic. This means that posting screenshots of Reddit comments is not allowed. So it got deleted out of fears of brigading against the subreddit it was originally posted on or something? This is Reddit we're talking about here. One of the biggest echo chambers for left-leaning users of the internet. Who are they going to brigade? This is one of the strangest reasons for a takedown. Anyway, I got an archive of the video, and it's what you expect. A guy committing a crime. Even though it appears he concealed his identity, I could tell you a million ways this guy can still get caught, but I'll let him figure it out the hard way. This post is probably the nicest one I'll be towards today, since they're actually trying to improve on the self-admitted, dogshit snarky infographics like the one I covered last time. I will still critique it, however, since I still have some basic problems with some of these arguments, but I do applaud you for trying to reach across the aisle. Car-brained excuses for driving. Given reason, public transport has bad people. Actual reason? You're correct. There's people with bad intentions literally everywhere. Solutions? Learn to use and carry self-defense items. I agree with you. Gee, that's cool. A lot of states, looking at you California and New York, restrict what you can carry, open, or conceal, even if it's not a gun. I know California has some crappy knife laws for citizens to follow, let alone if it's allowed to be carried on public transport. I, however, live in a state where I can do whatever I want, so personal safety isn't really an issue. Your comrades on the subreddit, however, hated this suggestion. Given reason, but it's too cold where I live. Actual reason, does not own winter clothes. Solution, buy coats, warm clothes for winter. 1 year later, I still think this is a terrible argument. A lot of people in the northern states could tell you that. Can some people brave the harshness of winter to pick up some supplies? Yeah, and it can be fun if you put it in the right state of mind. Heck, I walked 2 miles round trip during a winter storm last year to buy an energy drink. But a lot of people prefer the comfort of a nice comfy car on the way to the store, let alone the time saved getting there. I guess if you're talking about if there's a train or some other public transportation available too, that is fine and completely up to people to decide which is better for them. Given reason, my SUV has cargo space. Actual reason, shops at Costco once a month. Solutions, look into a cargo bike or limit car use during other regular commutes. Talking about myself, I'd rather do one gigantic Costco trip than several smaller ones, where I have to pedal 20 miles round trip. If you lived next to one, I could see this argument working, but this is based on an assumption that this is the only reason why someone owns a car or SUV. Plus, if you already have an SUV, why would you get something to replace it if you already have? Why do you need to buy a cargo bike if you already have an SUV? I really don't get it. If that's what you want to do, that's completely fine, just not me. Given reason, my car is faster. Actual reason, poor infrastructure. Solution, get involved, contact city officials, join an activist group, vote for better infrastructure when possible. I would kind of agree with you if the infrastructure materializes wherever you live, but it also completely depends on if it's realistic or not. My area is improving pretty heavily in a multitude of ways, but still not good enough, and until then, a car is superior. I do agree with you that getting into local politics and changing things at that level will make more of a difference in your life than anything else. Again though, your comrades hated that you mentioned getting involved in local politics since it may give, in their words, MAGA people a say in how transportation infrastructure should look like. Lastly, improving infrastructure to increase a bike's performance can only do so much. A bike's average speed is still lower than a car. Given reason, riding bikes makes me sweaty. Actual reason, doesn't want to feel sweaty all day. Solutions, bring spare clothes and hygiene items. I'm sorry, I hate being sweaty and hot from a bike ride. I don't want to be gross when I'm doing errands. I've only done something remotely like this when bike riding to a beach. Carrying extra clothes can range from a t-shirt and gym shorts to a jacket and snow pants. I can just not worry about that if I hop into a car. Given reason, cars are freedom. Actual reason, car-brained view of the world. Solutions, join r/fuck cars. Watch Not Just Bikes. No thanks. Wow, what can I really say? That felt really good to really go in depth about solutions. What works, what doesn't. What a positive note to end this video on. Oh, it looks like I missed one. Might as well cover it, can't be all that bad, can it? Car-free hardware trip. In the dead of winter, on a day with negative 27 degrees Celsius wind chill, in 5-finger shoes, my toes are still cold, on icy trails, in a state that hates anything other than cars, on a dead e-bike, and with no additional planning than I should bring a rope today, I was able to transport a full 4x8 sheet of plywood from the hardware store to my home for model railroading without any issues at all. If I could do it under these conditions, then anybody could do it under nearly any conditions.
This post encapsulates everything I don't like about this subreddit. The snarky attitude, the showboating, the you're not even trying attitude. Dude, you admitted your toes were still cold after this horrific experiment. This doesn't show that anyone can do this. This shows that there's significant flaws with depending on a bicycle in certain areas, especially with dead e-bikes. I know this because I own one. Once the battery runs out on some of these models, you're just left with an even heavier bike to pedal home. Go from a 9 or 15 pound bike, try a 40 pound bike. Really great job. And that is the problem with this subreddit. No matter if your area is a paradise for any type of transportation or not, they will belittle your choice if it doesn't fit their ideas. Doesn't matter if you're old, doesn't matter if you value time, doesn't matter if you're sick, or maybe you just don't want to ride a bike, you don't feel like riding a bike. They don't care, they don't give a crap. For all the people who think this post is some type of compelling argument, kindly fuck off to this subreddit. They'll welcome you with open arms. And to the rest of you car-curious viewers, thank you for watching this video. If you like choosing what you like to ride to the local Wawa or Publix, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, this is Wubba Bubba, signing off again.